Welcome to the Garage Network podcast. Join us and the occasional special guest as we discuss everything automotive, from fixing cars as a technician, owning an automotive workshop or business, overall work-life balance, and even the occasional laugh. In this episode, we were lucky enough to be joined by the international YouTube superstar Rob Romano. We talked about his transition from mobile tech to workshop owner, and also discussed a bit about his passion for diagnosing cars and everything automotive. So I hope you guys enjoy it.
Okay, thank you.
Why are you nervous now? Why are you nervous?
Hang on 1 second. It's wanting me to click this here. So currently I'm selling BG in Sydney. BG products. I don't know if you've heard of it or used it, but
I do know. I did know that you were doing that, but then I see that you're doing all this other stuff, and you got all these other tools and stuff too. So,
well, yeah, that's it. You know, I spent a long time fixing cars, and I do miss it in a way. And maybe that's a way for me to connect a bit more than as opposed to have been a snake oil salesman. You know, I hate the term. I hate being sort of labelled a snake oil salesman, but it is what it is, you know. But I'm certainly grateful for selling a bit of tools at the moment, because I've been running to and from the post office, parceling things up, and during this lockdown, so it's actually worked out quite well for me.
I don't think you give yourself enough credit, Jeff. So Jeff's actually pretty sweet. I hate giving him a comment because he gets all happy.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
I hate giving him positive feedback. It's not good. He's actually like with anything, especially Volkswagen. And even though I'm working at that Volkswagen Academy, if I've got issues, Jeff's the guy I'm calling. Or anything diesel, he's the guy I'm calling again. Like he's. I think he doesn't give himself enough credit to have a company.
It's okay, because compliment. I just called Rob Romano. Is
that the chain? Is it the chain?
That's it, Rob.
Yeah.
That's all. That's what we do. We lean on each other, you know. So that's the good thing about it, isn't it?
Yeah. And nobody
knows everything, do they?
No. I am a bit starstruck. I'm sitting here with 2 stars as well, so that's pretty.
It's Hollywood.
Yeah, stars of the automotive industry. That's what you know. What that's the title for this one.
In Australia.
No. In the universe, mate. In the universe.
Backyard Joe Blows, I reckon.
Yeah. No. Never.
So I have got a question for you, Rob, and I've been wanting to ask you for quite a while. And is you started out as predominantly a mobile repairer. How did you go from being a mobile repairer to in a workshop?
Very difficult. So I was really doing the mobile part for about 6 years, and it was at that point where I wanted to expand the business, and I tried and failed miserably twice. So I had a guy working for me. So my plan was to have a guy full-time in the mobile van, try and build the business up while running it from home, because I was running it from home, and then get another van and have 2 vans. That's what we're trying to do, but it just didn't work out. So I had a full-time guy for about 3 months, and then I went back to by myself again, and I had another full-time guy for about 6 months, and I went back to by myself again. So it got to the point where, you know, I was going pretty good, but there was one thing that I hated: sending work elsewhere, right? And being a mobile mechanic, you can't do tyres, can you?
No.
So I thought to myself, I'm in a position where I can buy another van. You know, why don't I get a second van to do tyres and wheel alignments and do that on the weekends? Yeah, so mobile mechanic stuff Monday to Friday, Saturdays, tyre work, wheel alignments, whatever we can. Great idea, except for the logistics of having both vans, oils, tyres, everything at the back of my house. Right? So it was a pigsty. Tyres, oil drums, everything you could think of at the back of my house. And at that stage, I bought a house with a friend of mine. So, you know, it was his backyard also. So it got to the point where I had to get the workshop. regardless of whatever was going to happen. I had to make it happen. At that stage, I didn't have anyone that I could hire to be in the mobile van or hire to be in the shop, but had to take the plunge. So I just got a workshop. I signed a lease for 2 years. And one of the guys that was working for me initially in the failed time with the mobile van, I got him back on board. We caught up for coffee, and basically I got him full-time in the mobile van and I was in the workshop. So that's how that started. And I was in the shop doing dribs and drabs of what came in and trying to build that up, and then going out to do the tyres if I could in the tyre van. And he was full-time in that mobile van, and that's how that sort of got started, which it was a difficult process, very difficult process.
Yeah, wow, that's interesting.
Yeah. So
yeah, that's one way to do it. Wow.
Yeah, because I think Costa, you know yourself, right? Going from backwards the other way from
I did
the
it backwards,
to mobile. Yeah. So it's obviously much easier, but going the other way, it is difficult.
I know that, like what you're saying now about storage, pretty much, right?
Yeah.
I've got a lock-up garage that's full. I then have a storage which is full, which is a double car lock-up. That's also full. My van is jam-packed. And like you're saying, it's almost, by the time I put these costs together of all these rentals that I've got for storage alone, it's almost, might as well just go rent a workshop or get back in a workshop. It's almost close. Right. It's almost close.
Yeah, exactly. And, you probably don't want to be rolling around in all that crap when you go home every day.
Ideally. I'm enjoying the change, but I mean, for how long? That's a different question.
Yeah, no, that's exactly right, because it's a totally different ball game, isn't it? Trying to have the shop and trying to be mobile or trying to do it all at once together. So,
do you ever do any mobile nowadays, or do you predominantly stay in the workshop?
I don't at all. So I've got 2 guys now. So I've got a guy full time in the mobile mechanic van, and I've got a guy full time in the workshop with me. And basically, if my mobile guy full time is off, then my guy from the shop will go in and take his place, and I'll try and carry the load in the shop, But we're also at that stage where we're trying to expand. We do have someone that comes in casually as well, and we've got the bigger jobs on, and we can't handle it all. So, yeah. But personally, I don't think I'd go out in the mobile van myself anymore, except. There's one reason. There's one thing I like doing: mobile diagnostics. So, if there was something that I had to go out and check, I'd like to do that. I don't at the moment, but we usually just say, "Hey, bring it to the shop, and we'll do it here." But I understand, we lose a lot of customers that ring up and say, "Hey, you're mobile. Can you come and have a look at my car?" And I'm like, "Well, we can't. All our diagnostic equipment's here. Can you get it to the shop?" And they're like, "Well, we can't get it to you." So they call someone else. But
and why do you like the Diag stuff mobile? Is that because of the challenge, or?
Well, I think it's a challenge anyway, right? And that's the biggest thing that I enjoy, the diagnostic side of it, because I think, I got to a point a couple of years ago that I was a bit sick of the trade and the job and the industry, and I wanted something else to sort of motivate me. And I started getting into performance stuff, right? So I did the token, bought the Project U, bought a LS1 engine, bought a supercharger kit, bought 2 turbos, bought a little 2-wheel drive dyno. I started, I don't know if you know Skid Factory on YouTube.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I started thrashing Skid Factory and some of the performance channels. And that was good for a while. And then I got to and then you know how you get suggested videos and stuff. Guess who pops up? Scanner Downer.
Well, how's he got this hook? That man's got the hook to get us all in, doesn't he?
Well, the funny thing is, I saw one of his videos probably way before that, and I think it was one of those random ones where sometimes when he's in the field and stuff, he's like probing his secondary ignition thing around. And you're like, what is this guy doing? Does he even know what he's doing? So I sort of ignored him for a second there, and then I started really getting into those ones where he was teaching and that sort of stuff, and that took over. That was my sort of addiction to get me, motivated, and it's where I wanted to take the business, to be sort of known as that diagnostic.
And do you think that's what got you sort of starting to make your videos? I mean, You do have a YouTube channel, which is quite popular. I mean, we always watch all your videos, which you're more than welcome to let everyone know what that is.
Yeah, it's just the business name, Romano's Automotive. So it's just a little channel. I decided to get on board and do the same thing because, I learned from a lot of these guys. You talk about, Scanner Downer, Brandon Steckler, Bernie Thompson, Diagnose Dan, all these guys, and it's just, for me now, it's a bit of a hobby. So I like getting out there. I like doing the diagnosis. I like getting the tricky ones, and saying, how do we find this? And if I put that online, maybe it'll help someone. Maybe it won't. I don't know. But, at least the biggest thing about our trade is that some people want to hide what they're good at. I don't know why. I don't know. Do they want to get all the work? Are they scared someone else is going to take their work? I don't know.
I think you're right. I think. Look, to be honest, I think that's starting to go away. Maybe I'm just dealing with different people. Potentially, it could be that as well. I feel that's starting to sort of slowly go away. I do remember years back, techs being very scared to share their secret because, the boogeyman down the road is going to take all my work. I think that's going away and everyone's understanding the difference and that working together, we can, work it out a bit. Being friendlier is actually better for everyone. It's either that or potentially I'm maybe just surrounding myself with different people. I don't know yet. But I mean, my gut feel is that that's changing.
I think, in my opinion, it's stuff like the Facebook, social media and stuff, that's exploded. I remember joining the Garage Network, for example, when it only had like 900 members. And so that's what, 2.5 now or something, 2,500?
Yeah, almost three. And,
there's always guys commenting and talking, what job are you on? What crap are you working on that you can't figure out? What did you solve? It's all about sharing. And I think that's where that sort of helped that.
If I'm going to have one whinge about the networking stuff, if people have the resolution, sometimes they're not that great at letting people know. Like everyone helps each other and stuff, but then we forget. Look, and I've been guilty of this as well, because once you've solved your problem is fixed and you've moved on in life. Be nice to every now and then, because I've been guilty of sometimes going back on some person like, hey, how'd you go with this? It's like, oh yeah, it's fixed. Like, how'd you fix it? you know?
That's the funny thing, right? Because you see a random fault and you're like, whatever, even if you throw a few comments or you don't, you really like to know the answer, because if you ever get that fault, it's something to look at, something to know for future for yourself when you get something.
100%.
Everyone gets to learn, don't they? That's what we need to do. We all need to learn a little bit more and find the solution, find the result.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And at the end of the day, we all learn together, we grow together. It's just, some people think they know everything, and we're in a trade where things are changing so quickly that we all need to be in front of it. And why, what are the better ways than to do it together, with other like-minded people?
I don't think anyone can say they know everything. Maybe your mate Scanner Downer might be able to, but I don't think anyone else. I don't think anyone can say that and be honest with themselves and saying that they know. Even people that say better than other people, it's just different skill sets. Some people are better at different things.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And that's the thing. Like, people don't necessarily say that as such, but I guess they don't like to take other people's opinions on board. I think we've all seen. Obviously, you guys know for a fact that I love scopes, right? So there's always the people who are like, why would you do a relative compression test? Why don't you just do a compression test? Or why are you putting a in-cylinder transducer in there? They're thinking that the original way is better. It's got its place, right?
Yeah.
But, it's not that we're discounting that. It's just like there's other ways to do things.
Well, I think people come back to, that's how it's always been done.
Yeah.
And I don't like that saying. I'll be honest. If that's how it's always been done, means that you haven't evolved at all, which means you haven't been changing things, which means you're not. Especially in our industry, it's so fast to change, and not only from our tech, but even customer expectations totally different to what it was 20 years ago.
Yeah.
The whole thing of that's how it was used to be. Well, in reality, nothing is.
Right.
A lot has changed
all the time, doesn't it?
A lot has changed in 20 years in our industry.
And even if you look at training stuff that you guys, put out recently. Look at the amount of things there, programming, EV stuff. It's never ending, right? It's just going to get worse. Not worse, but, harder for us to stay in front of the trends, particularly if you want to be relevant. If you're still working on, old cars and whatever, EL Falcons and all that sort of stuff, fair enough.
Yeah.
But if you're getting your new customers, or your customers are getting new cars when they're coming through the door, how do you stay in front of that?
Oh, mate, my from that recent training we've had, like so with the recent training we've had, even the battery management systems or battery systems training that we did with the new alternators, that blew my mind. Yeah. Things I didn't know were even a thing on cars we were already working on. Yet I did not even know they were a thing. You know what I mean? It's craziness.
But back to the just going back to you like using your scopes. I really find people that mechanics that have kind of lost the passion. I think something like a scope can really help give them a kickstart and find a new way to test things. They've spent 25 years using a compression gauge and using a vacuum gauge. I find a new method of testing will invigorate them. Is that I don't know if that's a correct analogy, but it'll give them a kickstart and give them I don't know. I've got the perfect word, but I'm not going to say it. But it gives them a kick up the backside to want to learn and find a new way of finding a fault. I think Gil Scher said that to me, and
he's one of the worst influences on you for buying tools, unfortunately.
Oh, he's terrible. He's terrible. Yeah,
absolutely.
But yeah, look, I agree, Jeff. I reckon that's exactly what happened to me. I got down that track where I was not motivated any longer, and I turned to the performance thing and didn't work out, and then I got involved with the scope stuff and the diagnosis, and now I can't get enough of it. Yeah. It's weird. I guess it's do you have a passion for what you do? Have you got a passion for the trade? That's when you know that you're probably doing the right thing.
How many scopes have you got, Rob?
Well, I had 7.
Okay.
I've just sold
let me make a note. I'll put you on the.
I just want to make it double digits. So set me up with another 3, and I'm done. But yeah, look, I think it's great. I love it. I've got quite addicted to that sort of thing, and it's all about bettering yourself. Do you want to be better at what you do, or do you just want to go to work 8 till 5, twist some spanners, and go home?
Now, something that is actually a bit interesting. You're saying you're doing a lot of getting into performance work. Was that because you liked performance stuff, and now you've sort of changed to liking the diag stuff more? Is that what's happening? You're following your sort of what you're enjoying more?
Yeah, that's exactly right. At the end of the day, I did want a project car regardless. So, and I wanted to do a few things to it, but I've got completely off that. I've just sold all the cars. I've sold everything. I'm not really interested in that anymore. I've got too many things going on. And now, I focus on the diagnostic stuff, and, I'm not going to lie, it might be a little bit sad for most people, but I spend a lot of my personal time, learning that sort of stuff, whether it be scope related or diagnosis. I spend a lot of my personal time doing that. And the thing is, you guys know, like anything, if you want to be good at something, you're really going to have to put your effort into it. And you can't learn on the job. You can't use your diagnostic tools or your process in your job during the day.
No, too much pressure, not enough time.
That's exactly right. Yeah. Your customer wants your car. You can't muck around and plug this in and try that or get a diagnostic procedure and work it out. You really need to do the theory, at least, like we were talking about before, Costa, with theory, that you're teaching theory. You got to do that, but you can't do that during the day at work, can you? You need to make money.
Yeah, that's a good point. And subconsciously, I think we do that, but actually saying that, you're probably right. Like most of the time at work, you're just doing the work stuff.
You just got to get it done.
Then you do after hours, you're doing your actual learning and your personal development, which is good. Yeah,
that's exactly right. And I think the biggest thing is having someone close to you that you rely on that has the same passion. Because then you feed off each other and you both want to learn. And I remember listening to a Brandon Steckler interview. I don't know if you know Sean Tipping or those guys.
Yeah, excellent. Yeah.
So that interview, Brandon was saying the same thing. So you can't really learn on the job. You need to have someone, a buddy as such, when you can learn together outside of work hours, because they motivate you the same way that you motivate them.
Oh, look, 100%. I agree with that. I
I'm addicted to Sean's podcast at the moment.
Yeah.
It's
Jeff and I are only new onto it.
Yeah. Look, I've never really listened to a podcast before, but it used to be Megadeth all the time in my van, but now it's Sean and
say the truth. It used to be Britney Spears.
Britney Spears.
Let's be clear. Come on. There's no. It's okay. Free Britney, we all get it.
I'm not scared, Yeah.
Hey,
who doesn't like it?
Mate. There's no judgment here.
That's right.
No,
that's right.
Well,
if there was, because if there was, you'd be kicked out ages ago. No.
Look. Let's not go down that route.
Don't say it. Don't say it.
I'm not going to say it.
You know what we missed though? I think Jeff went straight into it. We missed a bit of a little bit about you, Rob. So obviously you're mechanic. Is that something you've always been doing? We always a tech from early on.
Yeah, from day dot. So I started getting into the automotive trade. I think I wanted to do panel beating and spray painting for a while. I don't know why.
Yeah.
And then just got into the mechanical trade. I did my apprenticeship at a Ford dealership in Perth. If anyone knows Centre Ford, bang at the centre of a great Ford deal. I still remember the slogan. So I was there for a long time, almost 10 years. And then towards the last tail end of that last 10 years, I actually got an ABN and started doing, work for people that I know. I probably shouldn't have been doing it at the workshop there, but whatever, I did it anyway. Yeah. And then after I left, I wasn't sure what I wanted to do. A friend of mine, Daniel Wallace, you guys know, he got me a job up north working with him, BHP. So I did FIFO it was only 6 months, but, horrible in my opinion. So
it's a hard life balance, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. The roster wasn't that bad, but I got back to Perth and I was like, this is crap. So I actually lined myself up with an Automasters. So I actually had a gig to be a manager at an Automasters of a new store that was about to be built.
Yeah, right.
But they did say to me, because it wasn't built yet, I had to be on the tools at their other place.
And sorry, just because we're from the East Coast, Automasters, like a chain repair or something?
Automasters is a massive chain. Yeah,
okay,
I'm surprised. Gotcha. I thought you guys had them over there too.
They
are. They're a big chain.
No.
Yeah,
we might, but I'm not familiar with them, that's all.
Yeah, okay, cool. Yeah, they are a big chain. So they've got quite a few, franchises, and their thing to me was like, yeah, you'll be manager of this store, but in the meantime, you need to be on the floor at this other store. And I was like, I don't really want to go work for someone else. Yeah. I would have, if it was a manager role, I probably would have taken it. I would have just gone, yeah, I'll take it. So I was at the point where, a couple of my friends were like, just start up a mobile business, take your customers and that you had before when I was at the Ford dealership. And I did that. So that's where everything started. I started mobile. The first year was pretty crap, as you can imagine. But luckily I had a bit of a build up. Even the money just from the 6 months at Mines was enough to just allow me to play that year out and see what happens. And then it just all blew up from there.
I think it's always a bit daunting, that initial foot in the water. I think it's always going to be a bit scary. It
is. And I think it's lucky for, even yourself, right? You're probably lucky to have that backing to jump into that mobile setup.
Oh, look, I found it easy going from the workshop to the mobile, but the initial plunge from actually getting into a workshop, because I was only like 19, 20 years old when I did that. It's what I always say, it's probably lucky I was so naive and ignorant, because I don't know, a lot more thought would have been put into it now. It's good that, and obviously having support. I was lucky enough to have a bit of support as well. Someone that has your back, I think is really important as well. But it is always a bit that initial step, because I'm sure there'll be some guys that are listening that
that are like, they see the end result, but don't realize that the first step in the water was just as deep and just as scary as
to get there.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, I mean, there's been heaps of guys on TGN, for example, that have said, "Oh, I want to go mobile. What do you guys reckon? How do we set it up?" And it's difficult, isn't it? It's difficult starting from scratch, particularly if you don't have that financial backing to be able to soak up that loss for that initial period.
100%. It's got to be. I feel like it's either got to be really well planned, or just jump in.
Yeah,
you can't stay in the middle. Yeah, you can't stay in the middle. You got to either just go for it, or have a very good plan in place.
Yeah, that's exactly right. But I feel pretty lucky that everything's sort of worked out for me. Going from one van by myself to now having the mobile mechanic van, the mobile tyre van. I've got a workshop that's busy. I've got a couple of guys, so it's pretty good for me. I'd say. We did it the hard way. It's actually, if you probably look at the length of time I've been doing it for, it's probably not big enough. But we did it the hard way. No, nothing.
Look, I wouldn't say that though, because I mean, end of the day, and like, I know people, expect things to be faster, but then would you have known what you know?
Well, you're right, exactly. And even going back, you look at some of the things you've done and think, man, shit,
idiot.
I wish I did something differently to make this happen.
Yeah.
But yeah, I look at a lot of shops too that are really busy and like far out. How do you get there?
I mean, 1 foot at a time. They all walk.
Yeah,
they all talk.
That's it. I've actually, I don't want to take away from TGM, but I've been looking into, the workshop whisperer.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so I see some interesting stuff from her. She posts a lot of stuff, and it's quite interesting about, advertising and stuff, because it's something that I've never really thought about. I don't advertise at all. So I'm thinking to myself, that's probably an avenue that needs to be attacked. And for a lot of guys that would be starting out, maybe that's the way to, try and grow that base pretty quickly.
Look, I definitely think, if not advertising, at a minimum, having a strong online presence for your own brand, because you've got to obviously build your brand. We've actually got one we just dropped, the podcast just dropped with a social media / digital marketing expert that had a bit of a chat.
I'm about to watch. It's on my playlist. I'm going to be watching it. So
perfect, yeah. I mean,
some tips.
It's not hard. It's not hard. It takes a bit of obviously planning, but I mean, it's not hard. And look, I'm
thinking though, Costa, I don't know what I haven't watched it yet. So
yep.
Having the time to do it, like, do you do it yourself or do you get someone else to do it for you? Do you know?
This is what I always tell people. Now, I'm a big believer in this. If you're way too busy with work, that means you can afford to pay someone. If you're not too busy at work, then you've got time to do it yourself.
Yeah.
That's the way I see it.
It's nice to know how it works, to have a basic understanding of it. And, you want to learn something as you go, is my opinion.
Yeah.
But I've recently been in a position where I've just literally gone, I've tried that. You can do it. Get an expert in there, but at least they had a go anyway. But marketing is definitely not in my. It's not one of my fortes.
I don't think it's any right unless you're into that sort of thing, So I think either way we're looking for someone else to help us, whether it's by information that help us do it, or like you say, getting someone else to do it if we're too busy.
Oh, look, absolutely.
So little things like making a YouTube video for just drift away from the marketing there. I mean, you've done quite a few videos now, but I did a video recently. It must have took me 6 hours to edit a 12-minute video. It's just somebody that knows what we're doing would have done it in 10 minutes. Do I really want to be spending 6 hours faffing about with computers and audios and?
Yeah. No. Look, I think, same thing for me. When I first started doing it, I was like, geez, what am I doing? This is crazy. Get on the, editing thing and take forever. But I think I'll do them pretty quickly now. Because I've probably got over 60 videos now. So.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah.
I'm just going to send them to you, Rob. Just send them to you.
Well, he's got Rob's got all the time in the world. That's what I was telling earlier.
what you do have, Rob, it's your voice. You know, you're like an Aussie Morgan Freeman.
I told you it's Hollywood.
That's it.
You know what it's like, right, Jeff? You watched your video back going to yourself, oh man, my voice sounds so weird. I look so weird. What am I doing?
I can't do it. I can't really watch anything. I can't really listen to anything. You know, I've got a ridiculous Northern UK accent. You know, I don't know how you guys understand me sometimes. But
Jeff, have you told Rob at what time of the night you actually listen to his?
No, that's a secret. We can't talk about that on the
when everybody's asleep.
Everybody bar one. Everybody bar one. That's a different conversation.
That's definitely.
Oh dear, we can edit that bit.
It's all good. Oh, that's great.
Oh dear, but
all right, cool. So obviously, busy going on. You're also a new daddy. I shouldn't say daddy. Say dad. It's so strange when you say daddy. Yeah. So how did that go with that thrown in the mix of running a business, running some mobile guys, management?
Difficult. Very difficult. Oh, look, normally it probably wouldn't have such an impact, but we had a little bit of complications because my baby was born premature and a few issues like that. So between that and constant back and forth hospital appointments and all that crap, I'm lucky I've got my guys, and my main guy in the shop here, he can run the show while I'm away. I had a lot of time off. I still do. I still, maybe I come in late and leave early because I can, which is I'm luckily in that position that I can. But if I was working full time, it would be difficult. And lucky for me that I feel like my wife's amazing. She does everything. I help out when I can when I'm home, but she bears the major responsibility. But overall, it is difficult, I think. So
it's funny, isn't it? We'd all be lost without a good woman.
Exactly right.
We talk about scopes, spanners, whatever, but we'd all be lost without that.
Unsung heroes, mate. Absolutely unsung heroes, 100%.
But it's also having the baby has probably forced me to change my business approach because I obviously started mobile, and when you're mobile, I don't know how you're doing it at the moment, Costa, but when I was mobile, I was stressed. I just wanted to get all the work done. When I get home, then I do the phone calls, the invoices, all that stuff. So
very much like that. Yeah.
Bloody 12 o'clock at night. And because I started that way, I've let it keep going that way. And I still do that now. I do what I can during the day here, but at night I still reply to emails and I'll get back to people and I'll do quotes and I'll order parts at night. But now that I've, got the baby, it's forcing me to not do that or that I don't want to do that. I've got to help out too when I get home. And, everybody always says to you, when you have a baby, make sure you make the most of that time, because when they're older, you're going to kick yourself. I probably shouldn't be doing that paperwork after hours anyway, right? But now it's forced me to try and change something up and streamline the business, I think.
Well, there you go. It goes back to when we were talking about earlier. It's how it was always done. Well, is that a good thing?
Well,
exactly. It's a habit that gets stuck, doesn't it? I'm guilty, like you say, even on days where I probably had time during the day, I'll get in my habit of, 10, 11 o'clock at night, I'll get the laptop out and start doing why? There's no need for this. I could have realistically, I probably could have done it earlier. Yeah. But those habits get stuck in there, I think.
Yeah. Or, particularly when you're mobile, do you add an extra half an hour between jobs and you do that, particular thing at that time? And that way, when you do finish work, you finish work.
Look, I'll be honest, Rob, I'm a bit fortunate with my mobile stuff. Jeff knows this. I underbook a lot.
Yeah.
And the whole premise of, when I left the workshop, because I wasn't trying to leave the workshop, we just had an offer we couldn't refuse. And so when we did leave the workshop, the promise to myself was, because like yourself, it wasn't uncommon to leave the workshop at 10 o'clock at night and be on emails all night and doing that process. the promise to myself was, okay, if this is what's going to happen, I'm then going to have a lifestyle that I enjoy, and I still want to fix cars, but I want to do them I want to enjoy the process. If there's a diagnostic job, I want to spend a day and enjoy it. And I want to actually work out a process and learn and do all that sort of stuff. I'm not going to try and jam 5 services in one day. I might just jam in 2, So I think, again, just fortunate that can happen. I've got awesome customers that work with me where if they've been with me for a long time, and if I say, if I give them a call on a day and say, listen, I'm running late and I don't want to start your job at 3, 95% of them are no problem. So I can definitely
are known
see,
as being semi-retired in the Sydney industry.
Look, but I can definitely see, because I can definitely see how you could very easily, because even times when I've finished at 3, I could easily go do another couple of services and just keep going, right? But then it's like you have to almost stop yourself and remember that, hold on, bigger picture, is that the right thing to do, So
well, that's when you think to yourself, is it the money or the lifestyle that you're after? If you're after the money, you're going to be doing those back-to-back jobs. And I remember when I started mobile, and after I built up over that first 1.5 to 2 years, like I was saying before, it's back-to-back jobs, and then you do everything else after. But looking back, it probably wasn't the right thing to do.
Well, at the time it was, though. That's the thing, though. That's the thing, right? That's the thing. And like I say before, like, ask me this question 5 years ago, I wouldn't be telling you what I'm saying. I wouldn't be talking like this. I'd be like, nah, you go out there and you work all night,
Yeah.
But again, that's just, I think you mature over time, and other things come into it, and, you start worrying about your health a bit more, you start worrying about your life with others a bit more and all that sort of stuff,
Sleeping routine, maybe.
Sorry?
Your sleeping routine?
No, that's still shocking. It doesn't matter. Absolutely shocking. I think, more time doesn't help me with that. I'm a shocking sleeper. So,
well, I've got people like Rob Romano to blame for that, because I'm really tired. I get in bed. Yeah, I'm going to have an early night tonight. Bing, I'm wide awake. I've got a notification on YouTube. Rob Romano's there.
So you can take that home, Rob. You heard it here live, and it's going to be recorded. He listens after he goes into bed. He hears a bing. And he watches you. You heard that a lot. You've said it. It's recorded. It's done.
I admit it. That's fine.
Well, that's look, saying that, Jeff, I think that's a funny thing too, because I think, at the end of the day, when you do get hooked on these YouTube channels as such, whichever one it is, you do get that. My YouTube bloody app's got 10 notifications a day. Where do you draw the line? And it's probably a good thing. You're relaxed at home and you can learn something, I guess.
It's a bit of peace and quiet. She's fast asleep. The dog's asleep. I'm not getting bothered.
That's exactly right. It's either that or in the toilet, right?
So let's keep this PG.
The problem with that is your battery might go flat, so you need somebody to charge it. Then you take your power bank with you. There's too much things going. Oh, you do? Okay.
You're aligned with what you take in, right?
Yeah. Okay.
Then your legs go to sleep and you can't stand up and wipe your bum.
That's when you just. I'm not going to say it. I was going to say it. I'm not going to say it.
To help you get out.
Yeah, I was gonna go deeper. I won't. I'll leave it at that.
No, it's staying there.
I've got to remember the line. There is a line. Yeah.
Do you instead of YouTube, do you ever pick up any books or anything like that? Is there any books that you?
Mate, I do. I've got. I've only got a few. As you know, the Scanner Downer book.
I've not got it. I haven't got it,
mate. You need to get it. That's the number one book you should have.
I should have it. Well, Costa was going to buy me one, because Costa had never heard of Scanner Downer once upon a time, and I introduced Costa, and he said he was going to buy me a book, and it never happened.
And did he buy it for himself at least?
I got a great book. I mean, look, I will give you credit. Yes, you did. You did introduce me. Probably the only good piece of advice you've ever given me, but everything else has been about go buy this motorbike.
Yeah. But yeah, look, I've got that book. I've got the Scanner Downer book. Obviously, I love scopes and stuff, so most of it's based on that. I've got the Automotive Oscilloscope book by Graham Stokes, which is a great book as well. And I've also got the Brandon Steckler Pressure Waveform Analysis book, which is amazing.
I've seen that book. I don't have it, but I have seen that book. It's meant to be really good.
Oh, they're great books. They're good. You know, if you get a chance to read over them, great. Otherwise, they're good reference material. You know, when you're learning on something. But most of the things that I like to see is the diagnostic stuff on YouTube. I like when guys have the tricky jobs, and a couple of guys I didn't mention before, like Super Mario Diagnostics, and Cody, and all those guys. So they've all got great channels. They have crap jobs coming in the door, and you want to know, how do you fix them?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's interesting about this trade too, and that's why obviously you guys know TAT. TAT's a great concept for that too, because they've also their repair solutions is an online version of a YouTube video, I guess. So obviously,
and you get a resolve.
Yeah. And you know what the answer is, right? It's not a Facebook question, and nobody tells you what's wrong.
Yeah.
So, and that's what I like, and that's why I think TAT's great as well. That's good community to be a part of too, and it's just so cheap. Why wouldn't you?
And do you ever put time aside, like purposely for your own sort of development, or it just happens whenever you stay back and decide?
Yeah, I don't think so.
It's just sporadic
because life's so hectic that when you get a chance, it's like I'll watch a video tonight, or I'll read this, or if there's a particular thing I'm working on. Like, I don't know if you saw my video on the Astra with the low-speed pre-ignition issue. You probably didn't. But anyway, I've got one there with that, and I didn't know too much about it about the time. So, I couldn't tell you how long I spent researching what low-speed pre-ignition is and how it worked and why it worked and what are the factors involved, how do you rectify it. So...
And what, really important with that, I think that's also something that our customers don't understand. Like, I mean, it's hopefully over time, and they start to understand how complex things are getting. And having these clear cut, guarantees are going to fix it. Well, yeah, we can, but it's going to take some time.
Yeah.
Like this sort of, like you going away and doing research just to figure out one car might have taken you 3, 4 hours, 5 hours of research to do a 10-minute test.
Yeah.
It's not the 10-minute test. It's understanding what I'm doing with the test, which I think gets lost. I think, when I know some people, when it comes to diagnostic, they don't have like a minimum fee and all this sort of stuff, which whatever, that's everyone has their own way. That's not a problem. But remembering that, there's a lot of research, and I think customers are starting to come around and understand that it's not sort of what it was. And they are like reality, what cars are the most complex thing they own by far, and we're there to fix them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's a great point. And it even goes back to something simple like a service, right? You got a service cost, and customers are like, why is it so expensive? And you think to yourself, they're calling you, you got to spend the time on the phone, you need to jump on, you need to see if they want a logbook service, right? You got to check with the logbook what's involved, order the parts. You got to look up this. You have to have a subscription to Autodata or
somewhere,
to get the service reminder off, or whether your scan tool does it.
Yeah,
it's not a $99 oil and filter change, is it?
And don't forget, they don't have a logbook, so it's going looking for the digital service book. And then we're also going online. We're going to try and fill out your digital through the dealer portals, which aren't very user friendly. We're going to make sure that's all done. Greet you with a smile. All this sort of service that goes with it. I think, there's a lot more than just what it is, but again, it's what people see is what they know. So
that's right. And it's our job to sort of, educate them with that. And the funny thing is, it might be a bit silly, but there's some of the YouTube videos that I've done, I'll show the customer after.
100%. Well, that's what I was going to. I was like, even those videos alone that you're doing, they actually do a really good job at showing that a couple of things. The complex systems. We're not grease monkeys. We've actually got we're doing something that's quite. If you think about the magnitude of what we're doing, we're using some pretty powerful tooling.
Yeah.
And like the tooling we are using is what a doctor will use to check your heart.
Yeah.
It is the same. We're looking at similar sort of things, right? It's no longer a little, oil leak over here and that's it. It's changing. It's changing.
Yeah. That's right, and because like you say, the customer drops off their car, it's running like crap. You give them your car back and a bill, and they're like, "Oh, okay, the car's running fine now," but they've got no idea what did they just pay for.
Yeah.
And then they see the video, and they're like, wow, I don't even know. They look like, you know, abracadabra stuff.
Yeah, wizardry.
Yeah,
Wizardry, yeah.
exactly. So, and it's a good tool. It's a good tool. But trying to convey that, you know, I think some of the guys now are taking photos and on the services and, you know, trying to convey what needs doing and things like that. I think that's customer education, right?
Yeah, we've been doing that for a while. I think photos, videos. I think I'm in the house. I'll bombard them with as much information as we can.
Yeah.
Be as transparent as we can. Hopefully, if they see it for the second time, even if 5% sticks every time we have that conversation with them over a few years, something's going to stick. So
yeah. Well,
I could be optimistic. I've been quite optimistic before.
At the end of the day, right, it's all about the customer too, right? There's going to be certain customers that are really going to appreciate that, and they're the customers that you want. So the ones that don't, so be it.
Rough with a smooth, isn't it?
What's that, Jeff?
You know, good customers, bad customers. It's just if we didn't have bad customers, we wouldn't know who the good ones were. So it's just rough with a smooth.
That's exactly right. And, you know, like we all know, you can't please everyone. Doesn't matter.
No.
You can go out of your way as much as you want, but...
I mean, I do, but, you know, there's not many of me, is there?
Well, yeah, that's right, exactly.
Again,
I guess in general, this doesn't matter what you do. There's, you know, people that are intending to be upset are going to be upset regardless of what you do.
One thing I was told, which look, I think makes sense. Like one thing I was told by a dude that's given me some business advice in the past is those difficult ones is the ones that you try and go above and beyond for. And I know we don't want to. It becomes second nature where if someone's a bit of a jerk with us, we want to be a jerk back, right? It's just what it is. If someone is rubbing you up the wrong way, you don't like it. And I mean, we do it back, you know? He always said, if you ever notice that, the best thing to do is go above and beyond and be extra pleasant. Because you know what? If they then go away and give you a bad review or they do something, you know, you actually went above and beyond. You don't care. Like if I've done all these awesome stuff more than I would normally and you're still upset, well, it's not me.
Yeah.
You know, and I was like, okay. And we try to follow that model. It's damn hard. You know, it's damn hard.
It is. I mean, I'll give you a quick example. I had a transit in a couple of weeks ago, had an accelerator pedal position code. So we couldn't get it to fault. I had the code in the system, road tested the car, you know, we disconnected the APP, cleaned it out, put it back in, running beautifully, nothing wrong with it, sent it out. 2 days later, I get blown up on the phone. What have you done to my car? It's running like absolute crap since you looked at it, you know. And I'm like, we didn't do anything. We unplugged your accelerator pedal position sensor, you know. But didn't matter what I said, we did something wrong. So it's one of those things, isn't it?
There's always going to. I think us expecting that not to be a case is just not realistic. It's not realistic. There's always going to be that.
Nature of the beast, vehicles.
And you know what? People as well, we've got to forget people are a thing where when something's just been done to their car, then they start looking for things.
Yeah.
So
subconsciously,
people go for a checkup at the you know, to the doctors and the
100%.
You know, the next day like, oh no, I've picked something up at the you know, at the doctors at the clinic, and you know, it's just a mind thing, isn't it? You know, it's playing tricks on us, but you know,
look, that's why we never wash cars at work. So one of the things at work, we made it clear that we don't wash cars because I think that when we initially started business, we tried that. And we had one or two people, oh, you know, it wasn't scratched before. It's like, yeah, but your car hasn't been washed for like 2 years. You know, it's probably been under a layer of muck for 2 years, you know. And then we like, oh, you know, we probably should have kept washing cars. Like, you know what? You know, it's like people want to, when something's been done, then they start paying attention to things. I think it's just human nature. It's what we do.
Like you say, and that's funny because that was a post recently, a couple of weeks ago. I think someone was talking about cars, washing cars and stuff, and we're like, I mean, I said the same thing. You know, I mean, do you want your car washed or do you want your car fixed?
Yeah.
If you want your car washed, go to a car wash. If you want your car fixed, come to us.
Yeah. Look,
like you say, you know, and everyone's like, oh, we'll just give it a quick one, you know, do the windscreen quickly, and then they complain because there's a little bit of, you know, those yellow bird shit stains and stuff like that. Far out. What do you do with mine?
Well, that's all we just stopped that. You know what? Windscreen, yep, we'll clean the windscreen and a vac. Even then, it's never charged out. It's not even half the time not even mentioned. It's just hopefully that they notice something's different, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, cleaning cars, I think, look, I think as long as the expectations met, if you know, it's not a full-on wash, guys, just a tidy up.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah. But the way I did it back when I had the shop in the UK was, you know, if you had a substantial invoice or something like that, I'd maybe get I'd either wash it myself if I had time or get a mobile detailer in just to give it a bit of a lick over. But you know,
good idea,
as a day-to-day basis, have I got time? You know, if I'm a small shop with a couple of staff, we haven't got time to wash the cars unless you've got a full-time car washer, which, you know, I'd rather have another mechanic there. But, you know, if you want to keep them sweet, we've got a big bill. Give it a once over, but I wouldn't be doing it as a daily thing.
Yeah,
personally.
I think that's more us understanding what the dealerships are offering and us trying to match them, because, you know, they all do, and they do a good job at it. Their cleaning service and all that stuff, they do a pretty good job at sort of customer facing stuff. I think they're not too bad. I think that's us just trying to stay with them. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, definitely. No, I agree.
All right. Do you have any questions for us, Rob? Or, you know, more importantly, I think we should mention your channel again properly, because, I mean, you rushed over it. And I think for the guys out there that don't know Rob's videos, I mean, he posts them whenever he makes them, but I mean, they're excellent. A good learning resource, I think, as well. Like, I watch everyone on all the networks that get posted. Sometimes watch it 3 times across the different networks, just make sure.
Well, I know that I annoy the crap out of you guys because you probably get 1,000 notifications I've just posted in every single group that we're in together.
Yeah. So you can't escape, mate. You can't escape. I'm everywhere. No. Give it a bit of a shout out if you can.
Yeah, it's just my business name, Romano's Automotive. So you can see here, just Google that. But yeah, I'm sure if you're a part of the Facebook groups that we're in, you probably see me posting all the time and probably get annoyed by me. So feel free to comment and say, stop posting, please.
I don't think that'll happen. Yeah. So any questions for us, Rob?
Yeah, well, you know, I guess I only know what I know about you guys from social media. So, but, you know, going back to what we were saying before, is that, you know, I didn't know that you did teaching, for example. Yeah. So that was interesting to learn.
Yeah, I don't look smart, do I?
But mate, put some glasses on too, man. You'll be
right. That's what I do. Actually, I wear my glasses and a coat and a lab coat whenever
Yeah.
Some pens in the top pocket.
Jeff, I was going to ask you, mate, why didn't you come back and start another shop here?
That was one of my plans. So I was a Volkswagen Audi, independent tech. Obviously, I worked on any vehicles European. I did ECU tuning as well. And in my luggage, when I moved to Australia, I bought some tuning equipment. I was like, do you know what? I'm just going to hit the ground running and try and build this up. And, you know, doing some tuning. I was going to try and align myself with, you know, doing some repairs as well. And I had a chat with BG Products. And, you know, I didn't understand the lack of staff or people wanting to work in the automotive trade, and like these guys were really keen to have me on board, and I was like, bloody hell, I'm gonna go and give this a go. I spent 20 years or however long fixing cars. I thought, you know what, I'll try something slightly different. And I'm not going to say I haven't looked back. I do really miss it, but I enjoy seeing going to the workshops with BG. That's what keeps me going. The chemicals are a really good chemical. I'm not here to preach about chemicals, but I think it's the customers that make it for me. You know, get guys like yourself. If you were a bit nearer, Rob, I'd have been to see you by now. Would have had you'd have bought me lunch.
Well, I mean, I've seen BG many a time from people posting, but I've never used it myself, so I don't really know much about it, unfortunately.
Not going to lie, Rob. Like, I think a few weeks back, just before the lockdowns happened, Jeff and I are probably that close to getting in the car and going for a drive. And this was all after, like, I think he must have been listening to you like midnight, and then he messaged me like, "Hey, we've got to go to Perth." I was like,
it was close. I think we were arguing who was going to drive.
Yeah, we were almost there. then we got
the whole BG section and was tested out.
No, it was more just, to be honest, it was more just an excuse to come to WA, I think.
Yeah, hey, well, you know what? It's pretty good over here. The automotive guys are pretty good. There's quite a few guys that, you know, are keen to get together and learn and stuff like that. I've tried, you know, a couple of times to maybe host a play night at my shop like you guys did with Mike, and I think Glenn did it a few weeks ago. So I've been keen to do that, but I've just joined Asden. I don't know if you know Asden.
Yeah, I'm an Asden member. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, there you go. Are we on the WhatsApp group together?
Most probably, yes.
Well, I initially I wanted to join for a while, but there was a stage where they were saying no mobile mechanics, and then I forgot about it. And then one of the guys, I think it's one of the Burson's reps, came around and said, you should join. And a couple of the guys I know, like Clint and stuff like that, the Tool Express guy, he's a part of it and said join as well. So I requested. Yeah. And not long after that, I actually spoke to your man, Mike.
Yeah.
I had a chat with Mike after one of your Friday Night Live episodes, because there was something really interesting about his invoices and the way he charges consumables and all that sort of stuff. And we had a bit of a brief phone call, and that, that was awesome. Had a good chat with Mike, and that sort of solidified, the Asden part of it. So, I just joined them, and it's great. One of the guys just messaged me this morning, actually, saying, we're going to do a play night and, awesome. Different testing and stuff, and let's set it up. So definitely a good bunch of guys over here. So if you guys do want to come over, we'll set it up.
Yeah, look, I think the WA guys are awesome. I think most of the Asden guys, to be honest, since being involved, they're pretty proactive, and I think they're pretty tight. Everyone's pretty tight. Everyone that is more than happy to help each other, and the guys out in WA are pretty proactive as well. I think you'll be a very good fit down there. It's good.
Oh, I hope so.
Yeah, really good fit.
They obviously wanted somebody famous in the.
That's what it is.
Group,
Yeah, of course.
Yeah,
that's why they didn't call me. They called someone.
That's true. The thing is, they're nervous to call you. A star like this, a star like Rob, we can't secure him. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's funny because everyone's everywhere, and I joined Asden, and like you say, that Asden group, or the WA one, the WhatsApp group. I replied to something on the other day, and guess who replies to that? Gil.
Gil, yeah.
I'm like, Gil,
you can't escape, mate.
Can't get away from you.
Yeah. Gil's the most famous of them all. That's the thing.
He definitely is.
Yeah, that Gil's a legend. He's absolute gentleman and a legend.
Edit that bit. Don't let him hear us.
No, I'm leaving it. Yeah.
No, I definitely can't talk to Gil any longer. He just empties my bank account with all the tools that
But don't empty it completely, because I can assist you there, Rob.
Yeah, I know. Mate, send us the catalogue of what you got.
Oh, we'll just have a tool off like we did on the Garage Network a few months ago.
Yeah, that was funny. Except I've got nothing new anymore, mate. I've seriously got no money left.
Look, tell you what. Have you got the? It's like an OBD logger, and what have we called now? Oh, it's jumped out my brain. I was thinking about it yesterday. It's a V, like an efficiency meter. What are they called?
What does it do?
Is it an ATS thing? Is it an ATS eScan?
eScan. Yes.
They're like a V calculator, aren't they?
Yes, that's exactly right. That's one of the functions that it has.
Yeah. So I want you to send me I need to find that video. I think you've got a video on it, haven't you?
I do. I did a little review on it on the channel. So if anyone wants to see that, it's on there. Awesome tool. It's one of those ones that it's pretty pricey, but when you need it, it'll save you, a lot of time, for those low power issues. If you get a low power issue and you're wondering, is it MAF? Do I have a blocked exhaust? Is what's going on? Is it fuel delivery or something like that? VE calculator is awesome. Does it all automatically for you.
Yeah, I was meaning to ask you about that, and I was meant to. I've got a note here to ask, and I couldn't remember what the bloody name of it was.
Is that the one that talks to you as you drive? Okay.
You can.
Yeah.
Just yelling out to you.
We had that one of the
low.
Yeah, we had the one.
Costa wants one now because
no, we have one at a play date. It's awesome. It's awesome. That's all right. I don't care. I'll be friends with the computer. I don't mind.
Yeah, that's right. No, but ATS has got some awesome tools.
They do.
Awesome tools. I really want that eScope Elite, but that's not happening. It's too expensive.
Well, I mean, maybe they'll sponsor you from all your videos.
I hope so.
It's good to have a celebrity on board.
Ring me, Bernie.
Ring me, Bernie. Go through his management. He's got a manager, so go through his management. Yeah.
Yeah.
Look, and if you ever do want to do one of your play days out in WA, I mean, if we can assist in any way, feel free to share it on our group, and feel free to post and see if we can get as many people there as possible. Yeah.
Do try and do it when Sydney's not locked down, though, because
absolutely,
me and Costa, we are going to come down.
Probably have to wait till my baby turns 7, and then so I'll see you guys in a few years.
Yeah. Yeah, the way it's looking, most probably, yep.
Yeah, well, that's right. Well, that's going to take you 7 years to get out of lockdown, right?
Yeah, and then another 7 before you allow us in.
Far out.
Yeah, that's right. We'll get there.
That's good. Sounds good.
Yeah. Well, mate, that was an absolute pleasure. Thank you very much. Hope I haven't taken too much of your time.
No, not at all, mate.
That was really
set
cool.
aside my time. I'm trying to plan everything these days, like we say. So it was good to catch up with you guys. A bit of a chin wag.
Yeah, it's good. It's good.
It's good to actually see you. It's.
I think most people probably don't know what I look like at all. So
I remember you said something about Ben Hansen when we had him on the Friday Night Live.
Ben's head. Is that what he said?
You know what? That happens. Like, believe it or not, I think people don't sit their voices all the time. But I don't know what Jeff was picking on you about.
Yeah, far out.
I'm trying to figure out what you expected. What did you expect?
I just didn't expect the beard.
When you hear someone's voice for so long without a face, when you see their face, you think, "Is that their head?"
Yeah,
is that their head?
I really think for your future YouTube videos, you need let's have you camera facing. Don't be scared.
Jeff, don't tell Rob how to make videos. Like the guy's obviously
video, Jeff, and definitely don't tell me.
Yeah. The guy I think doing quite fine in that aspect.
Well, no, but it just takes the element of surprise away. I would have known, but never mind. Never mind. Your YouTube videos are perfect, Rob. Thank you very much.
It's like the Stig. You see, the mystery is what gets you. Yeah. All right, mate. Really appreciate it, Rob. Thank you so much.
Thanks, fellas.
Thank you.
Thanks,
for the guys listening, this will probably be on our YouTube channel. It'll be on our private Facebook page. It will also become a podcast. So you're aware, Rob. So feel free to subscribe to our podcast, our YouTube, and if you are a tech, join the page. Beyond that, again, thank you very much, Rob.
Thank you, Rob.
Thank you to Jeffrey.
Thanks, fellas. Thanks for having me on.
No, absolutely. We'll catch you on one of those 30 pages we're on.
Cheers, fellas.
See you, mate.
Cheers, buddy. See you in a bit.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye.